I'm your ice cream man, baby. Stop me when I'm passing by.
Is one of us Harleys while the other is Hairspray?
I think we trade sometimes.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you are very Hairspray.
Quite, and you're very
Right? I can be very
Harleys.
Harley.
Very Harleys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
Two Harleys and Hairspray.
Correct. What you're seeing is not a UFO behind us, although there have been a lot of stories about UFOs presenting themselves more than ever. No, it's the reflection of a chandelier in our undisclosed location. And I find that very much like a good watch and a good pair of shoes,
A good chandelier means
it doesn't matter what kind of shambles your room may be in,
okay.
but a good chandelier really, don't you think?
You know, that's a good metaphor.
For?
A good book cover,
Oh,
right? It's a good lipstick. So in writing language, I call it the engine room. A good engine room in a chapter can save the chapter. A good moment in a film can save the whole scene.
you had me at hello.
Right? A good line.
One good line.
Good line. Oh man, a good line can make millions of dollars for a film. Whether it's a shitty film or not, a good line. Oh, that's a good one. And the songs. Okay, say songs. Same?
Oh, well, Titanic, think, Star Wars, Jaws, two notes.
Yeah.
Brr, brr.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Set the tone and really, they capture a vignette in time.
Mm-hmm.
You know how when you're emotional and there's a perfect
Do I?
partnership? Yeah, hey, just a daily event. And then there's a perfect partnership. Well, for example, you've decided that you're going to get a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a particular song playing on the radio. It just happens to be playing. It wasn't even planned. And now that song forever is in tandem. It's the soundtrack to that decision you made when you said, I think my relationship is over. I think that's it. Isn't that?
Totally.
This is why I got into music, or music got into me. This is why. I don't know what that is, but our need to be heard, and not even by anyone else, but be heard by Mother Nature as music holds our hand perfectly at a time of celebration or a time of despair. There's something about us not walking alone if we walk with music. I find that I'm never alone. I'm frequently in solitude,
Yes.
but I'm never alone because at any point I have a friend.
Yes.
And that doesn't need nurturing. It doesn't need conversation. I don't need to explain myself. I just appear and I'm never alone. And music is holding my hand through convocations and births and deaths and all of that. Which begs the question, what is your relationship with writing? And I know at the end of our last quickie episode, we were talking about lugubrious and the sound, the deliciousness of words, the succulence and the onomatopoeia. And I asked you, is that what draws you to the act of writing? What is your relationship with words, and what drew you in initially as a tiny tot, as a tater tot, to what it is that moves you now?
Into writing. There's always a catalyst, right? And for me, and I don't know what your process is like, but often experiences happen before I'm ready for them. And then the experience is like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then 3 months later, I'm like, oh, that's why this. The significance doesn't come first. It comes 3 weeks later or 3 months later. So what drew me to writing was an experience of feeling like I am so big on the inside. And how do I give that? How do I share that? It came from failing in theater school. It came from somebody saying to me, "You're not an actor," and then all of the emotions that came with that, and feeling so unseen, and even felt like, what if I'm wrong about myself? Like I came into the world on stage, like I'm made for it. I'm made for rooms of people, and so to get that feedback, it's like, what if I'm What if I'm wrong? What if I don't know who I am? And of course, I was 22, so you don't actually know who you are at 22. But I'm going to disagree a bit with myself. You don't know who you are at 22, but you know who you are at 22, or this knows who you are.
That's right.
This knows before this does.
That's right.
And so I fell into writing because out of despair, and like, where is my expression going to go where no one can take it from me? Words, language, sentences, poetry. Because then I started in poetry, because poetry is like, you don't get it? Fuck you. You don't get it. I get it. And I get to own it then, right?
The ownership piece is so big.
So big.
Yeah.
And whether you get it or not, people will pick out on a word. So it's, I'm kind of, there's a bit of rebellion for sure. But there's also the bigness that I am on the inside has a place to go on the page where it doesn't have to be pointed at and defined. Much like music, I would imagine. Somebody has their own experience of my words. That is their experience of my words. And it can be just as full, but the stories don't even have to match. My story of what that means doesn't have to match your story of what it means. And yet we both got to the same place. And yeah, so it's, I guess, wow, I never thought of it this way. It was a bit of an act of rebellion. It was a bit of an act of see me, and you don't even have to agree with me, but I will be seen.
And it came out of a place where rejection rained down on you.
Totally.
And you refused to fold.
Yeah.
As you were talking, I was thinking, if somebody asked me about, if I was, for example, on a dating site, or 5, but if I was on a dating site and somebody wanted to know
we
about
didn't
me,
meet on a dating site.
We were both on a dating site.
That's right.
The same dating site.
That's right.
But we actually met in person.
That's right.
And then saw each other on the dating sites. After we met in person, like, hey, I think I met that girl. What are the odds? But if I was a great sidebar, but being on a dating site, instead of filling out my profile and all of the prompts and etc., guess the site, filling it, no, I would just say, here's my Spotify playlist of the music that I made.
Yes.
And I put the most meaningful, most penetrating, the most transparent,
Yes.
revealing
Yes.
songs of mine.
Yes.
Through which I celebrate and cry. I said, hey, you want to know about me? You want my profile? You want me to fill this in? Go to the Spotify or go to whatever, Apple Music. Get to know me.
We did a little bit of that when we met. I sent you my show. You sent me.
I think a podcast, right? That's right.
You said, you want to understand music? Listen to this.
That's right. That's right. I was being interviewed by 2 great ladies.
Yeah.
And it was my very first podcast experience.
Yeah.
Better Art Bureau, shout out, represent. But yeah, that is, I think the best way for me to discover who I'm dealing with is to discover who they are in their passion.
Right. And their aesthetic, you can almost feel their aesthetic through their art.
That's right. My pictures will never demonstrate how much I love language. My pictures will never demonstrate my great femininity that lurks in me.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want all of those juicy bits? Go to the work I do.
Go to the work.
Because the work is the mirror.
That is yummy.
Do you find that about you too?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, it's the deepest mirror. It's the one sometimes that I don't even know. Right. I'm like, like this weekend, there's a piece that I'm working on. It's not an art piece, but I'm writing a piece for this project I was a part of. And something happened. It's all around abolition feminism. I'm not going to go into it, and all of a sudden I was like snagged, and I was like, what's going on? There's like a whole other art piece, I think, that pulled me in. And I was like, I need to write into this. Oh, and my heart started to ache. Oh, I'm not kidding.
It was real.
It was real. And then I actually had to go, okay, I don't have the capacity to write this today. This is an all-in piece. So I need to table you until I have capacity. I thought about you actually, because I thought if I was in that space and you were around, you would say, let's write a song.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that's what he means by that. And I go to the page, but it takes longer. And it was so interesting. How did I get here? Because the aesthetic, I was like, my whole body was moving. And I was like, okay, nope, this has to wait. This is what, because this weekend, like, this was a fun weekend. Don't take me to a dark, sorrowful, hard place.
We have to do all this work.
No, I don't have capacity. Right. So yeah, sometimes the mirror is deeper than even I can see sometimes until after the piece is written.
So in this chapter of my life, now that I'm dating, I assess my potential partnerships on how deep down the rabbit hole of my work they go. Not because I want strokes.
No, I get it.
But how intimately do you want to know me?
Yes. How willing are you?
Are you willing to do the work for the intimacy?
Yes.
And for you, the work should be easier. I actually created this stuff. You just have to let it wash over you. Yeah. You're not even doing anything other than listening and exploring and learning and making notes, taking notes. But I know you've been, we're in different stages because I'm dating and you're in a committed relationship. You're monogamous. How much of your work does your partner really know? And how important is that to you in that relationship? You can answer as much or as little of this as you want.
That's a really great question.
And how important is that to you from your partner?
I'm actually in a really new dance with that for myself. Here's what I'm learning. What I want is a partner who can hold the vastness that I come with and let it be.
Right.
So I don't necessarily anymore, I think, need to be understood by my partner as much as I need my partner to understand my process. If they can hold the process and not whatever, you don't need that or whatever. What are you crying for? I'm being so nasty. Not that they would do that. I know, right? They're all nasty.
What's the matter with you?
They would never say that. You're right.
For?
And they've never said that. Actually, they've never said that. So if you're an old partner of mine, I'm not throwing you under the bus. I promise.
What are you laughing for?
What are you laughing at?
Hey, what's the matter with you? Stop laughing. It's always so damn happy.
So funny. So what's up? So I don't need them to understand me, but I do need them to not. I need them to respect my process.
Of course.
That more than anything, that's key. And I need them to not be. I need them to not be freaked out by the package I come with, because I come with a lot, right? But I'm like, you want, right? I'm like, you want this part of me over here? Well, guess what? It also comes with this part of me over here.
Of course.
Vastness is in all departments, right? So that's my main thing.
Okay, but
yeah, that's a really good question.
As a follow-up, because I think you only partially satisfied my question.
Okay.
Maybe you fully answered it, but I'm only partially satisfied.
Okay.
As a follow-up, let's say you've just spent, because artists sometimes spend a year making a record.
Yep.
Or a half a year.
Yep.
So let's say you just spent a half a year excavating something huge to you.
Yep.
Positive, negative, huge.
Yes.
You've just poured a half a year of your heart and your life into this thing. It took over your world.
Here comes the question. I can feel it already.
And you realize, you know exactly where I'm going to go. And you realize that your partner validated you briefly and said, well done. I'm so proud of you for doing this. And never really beyond just the initial day and a little bit of scrolling or Cole's notesing, never really got to know your half a year commitment, but moreover the depth of your soul that you committed to a project.
Yeah.
How would you feel about the status of your relationship with said partner?
Yuck. I would feel used. Isn't that a weird word that I chose?
Used?
But I would feel used.
I think he didn't use you enough. You should be all totally used up.
No, I would feel used. I would feel like, huh. So I'm good to take up space in the house and do the things, whatever, but you're not going to invest in what I care about.
I understand.
You just want all these things and you're not. So I would feel used.
You enjoy watching Beyonce on stage, but you never take a wrench and take care of the risers or the lighting rigs or the sound. You're just here for the pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, that's how I would interpret
You're
that.
not here for the labor of it, of what goes into making it. Used.
Yeah. I would feel like there's no investment in me, but there's investment in is the experience, the light work, rather than the see me.
Would that be, beautifully said, would that be grounds for relationship termination in the court of Tina?
Yeah. I don't know that I would come to it very quickly, but it's kind of like, the jug of milk just fell out of the fridge and hit the floor.
Beginning of the end.
It's the beginning of the end.
It's the beginning. And that milk gets sticky.
And it's stinky.
That's right.
Stinky.
It's not just a wet spot.
No.
There's a lot of residue to deal with.
Yeah. And I would want, even if they don't like it, let's talk about it. I may not, and because I can say, I'm not ready to talk about this yet. You don't like it? Thanks for telling me you don't like it. Let's unpack it 3 months from now when I'm distant from it. But I want that. I would be like, tell me what you didn't like. And what's interesting is my partner, Trevor, whom you know, is not an accolades guy. He is not a good job. He's not that guy. He watched, oh my God, on our first date. He had watched it, I think, before the first date, our first date in person. And he's like, I'm not going to tell you it was great. I just want you to know, but that's just who I am. I'm not that guy. And I'm like, what do I do with this? I'm not even sure what I do with this. And since we've now unpacked pieces of what he liked, what he didn't like, but in the immediate, my first thought was, what am I going to do with this?
And conversely,
yeah.
So he's an actor.
Yeah.
Have you watched him act?
Yeah. In fact, I shoot his auditions, and I give notes.
What would happen?
I don't know if it's good or bad.
What would happen hypothetically?
Yeah.
If he just wasn't good regularly. If he just wasn't.
You're just asking all these exposing questions.
In other words,
if he was a bad actor.
Yeah. In other words, no. But if he was a bad actor, but he pursued it relentlessly without getting better, and knowing that this is his raison d'etre and it's all he wanted to do, but he was just a dinosaur.
Right.
He was just a T-Rex trying to pull the female T-Rex's hair, and his paws were just, and he couldn't reach the hair.
You're adorable.
And she's like, pull my hair. He's like, I can't
get to your hair.
And then his acting is just like this. But you love him, but you respect him? So this is not about you and your partner specifically, but I want to know how the mind of an artist works in relationships. In fact, we're converting the whole tone of this show from art speak to relationship speak.
Yeah, we're in relationship zone.
It's going to be Dr. Ruth meets Jerry Springer. It's going to be fantastic. So back to my question. Don't forget it. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to be I'm going to be really honest with you, and I hope it does. It's going to sound how it sounds. I'm going to say the thing.
You shouldn't have put a name on your partner, but we don't edit.
We don't edit.
Here we go, Trevor.
It's okay. He can take it. It's all good. Okay, this is going to sound. Who knows? You just take it how you take it. Okay. I don't. Just say it. I don't attract people who aren't exceptional at what they do.
Come on.
I don't think I'm attracted to people who are not exceptional at what they do. I can be attracted to a beginner, but the people I'm attracted to are all the way people. They're not halfway people. So so I can root for the beginner because I know they're exceptional. Did I just say that? But that's what it is. It's about art. Like, why are we friends? Because we play a similar game.
Yes.
And because we didn't date.
That's right. The app didn't quite. No, I remember a distinct conversation where we chose this and our friendship and the infinite capacity of this over simply the intimacy of the physical.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for another episode. I have a lot to say.
Okay.
So I guess what you're saying is
What do you want to
we're
end on
both.
this then?
Well, you're just saying we're both exceptional, and that's how you roll.
That's how I roll. So yes, I could go out with someone who was shitty at something because I know they're exceptional and they play all out and they'll get there, and I can totally root for that. But I'm not attracted to people who hang out in the middle. I don't care. Not my type.
So what I got from this is you're an all the way in person, and in fact, when you got rejected, you rose like a phoenix and found your true self, and found a way to be seen. And that's critical. So I guess we could sign off with some of those ideas. Are you guys seen by your partners? What kind of people are you? Are you all the way in people? And what makes you respect those around you in your circle? And what makes you not respect them or maybe disregard them? So a little bit existential today, a little bit of self-questioning.
A little relationship, a little revealing too. Very good.
Ladies and
you were a
gentlemen.
very good interviewer today.
Oh, thank you.
Did not let me off the hook at all.
I really needed to let you flow.
Till next time.
Let me call you one time. You'll be my regular stop.